What's up my friends, how's it going, and welcome back to the second episode of our Let's Play series as Aurelian in Empire Divided with your fellow comrade Summary. Let us quickly turn off the notifications and we can jump into the strategic overview map and explain what transpired in the previous episode. In the previous episode, we built up 3 armies, Legio 3 Africana, Legio 2 Illyricum, and Legio 1 Dacia, and we moved each of those armies. The one in Africa moved into Sicilia to conquer the province entirely. The one in Illyria moved in to secure Patavium, thereby establishing a foothold in Cisalpina. And Aurelian in Legio 1 Dacia moved all the way into the port of Apollonia to capture the settlement of Brundisium, securing a foothold in Magna Graecia. With that, we are still at war with the Roman pretenders, and one of the community members in the YouTube channel in my previous video mentioned that we are currently in a civil war because the Roman pretenders is actually a civil war faction against us, and as long as they exist, we are protected from any further civil war, so we don't really have to bother that much with loyalty as long as the Roman pretenders exist. And once we complete our civil war, then we will get a bonus loyalty, which is actually pretty significant. Apart from that, I am using my own custom-made, version of MI Tiny Cities mod, and the main difference, of course, is that it doesn't have the cities itself, because the cities require start pose editing and DB editing. For those of you who are familiar with modding, you'll know just how much that can affect the base Divided Empire game and how difficult it is to be going to be to maintain, because with every minute change that DEI makes, that submod by MI, which is a fantastic submod, no critique of that submod to be specific, but what I was basically saying is that with every iteration, it's going to need to be updated. And apart from that, it's also going to be incompatible with the other campaign maps that use the Empire Divided or the Imperator Augustus campaign map, and that is because it only edits the start pose for the grand campaign. However, if you get rid of all of those elements, sacrificing only the appearances of the cities, you are able to use this beautiful map in any of the grand campaign map modes. So as you can see, it's fully working. Someone in my YouTube channel did mention that the lightning effect is not visible, but as you can see, you can see the lightning effect visible over here. It's very much so. I'm just kind of trying to wait for a lightning spark. I'm not able to see that, but I'm pretty sure it's there because I have seen it for certain. And you can see that there is rain, there's all of that effects. We just try to wait for and all of there you go. Kind of see the seen that lightning spark. You can rewind a little bit in order to get a view of that. We can just stay put for some time, I guess, maybe not, but definitely the lightning sparks are there, and it's one of the most beautiful things of MI's submod is this lightning that looks really fantastic. And there you have it. We just saw one big one over there. However, that being said, we can hop right into the episode. Of course, the objective of this episode is to try to wipe out the Roman pretenders. But before we do that, we're going to take a look at all of our characters and try to upgrade them. Over here, we have a champion, so we're going to give him the relevant skills that I usually tend to get, because according to me, there are, there is a ideal one. Meanwhile, all the way up here in the north, we do not have any much armies in Cisalpina, so we can kind of abandon Patavium and try to get a line of sight of what's going on in Italy. There we go. Okay, we can see that they have 2 armies over here. The armies that were previously in this area in Cosentia have moved up north towards Benventum. So that's kind of good because it kind of gives me the opportunity to expand towards Cosentia uncontested. And what we are going to do is we're going to move our army outside the settlement and just put him in a patrol stand so that he replenishes as much as he can, and then we're going to push into Cosentia in the next turn, of course. That being said, we also need to build up our fleet because, as you can see, we are a little bit on the back foot when it comes to our fleet. Our navy definitely need a lot of that. Apart from that, we are not really doing much over here, so I'm just going to cancel that. We're not making any money because empire maintenance is a huge problem. What we are going to do instead is we are going to issue out an edict to help with with the public order as well as the growth rate. We have a dignitary over here that we are going to deploy as close to the Asian provinces so that we can immediately take control of Asia and gain an economic province. Now, the main reason why we're not making a lot of money is if we go to one of the provinces that are being taxed, you can see our empire maintenance is massive, 138. That is absolutely insane. Like, I don't know if it has to do with the plus 40 empire maintenance because of the Imperium, and that's only going to get larger. So we really need to focus on our research that will help with the empire maintenance. Now we have the Cult of Soul Invictus just a turn away, which means public order will no longer be an issue. We are just going to go through provinces one by one, see which province is actually benefiting us. Now this is decent in terms of food. This one's not really giving us any food and very little income, so I might as well just turn off the taxation over here, and we can start to effectively repurpose the province as a military recruitment province. That being said, we are done with that. Over here we're making a decent amount, so I'm going to retain that for the moment, but I'm not going to upgrade it, and the same goes for Achaea. Meanwhile, Carthago is making a decent amount of money, but we want to fix the food situation over here because we have a couple of buildings that actually cost food. So we're just going to dismantle both of those buildings that cost food in order to secure our food. As long as we can secure food, especially in Carthago or maybe even Sicilia. Sicilia could be a very good candidate. We can just dismantle this building. What will end up happening is we can turn off taxes in a lot of other provinces that are mediocre and providing food, like Pannonia and so forth. However, that being said, we can go ahead and end the turn, but before we do that, we're once again going to take a very quick look. In the next turn, we will need to build a lot of our temples. So what we can do for now is actually look at our client states, cancel the trade agreement, since we don't get any penalties for cancelling it, and we can re-establish it for a payment. So there we go. There's the re-establishment. We are going to do the same with Lydia. Lydia's at war with the entire world, so they are going to get absolutely destroyed over here. So we're going to try to milk them for as much as they can give us. Egyptos is also at war with Palmyra. Now the real problem over here is that Palmyra has a auto-resolve script, much like the Roman Empire in the Grand Campaign, which means they're going to be incredibly tough for our AI subjects to defeat. So that is really unfortunate, which means Palmyra is going to grow pretty massive. It's unfortunate for us in the sense that we will have to reconquer and we will lose our buffer zones. But if we play our cards right, we can secure our western frontier in the meantime. So with that, we have managed to gain quite a lot of denarii, so that's good. And we have built up a treasury for the next turn, where we're going to start building Soul Invictus temples literally everywhere possible. That being said, before we end the turn, we are going to go ahead and attack Ravenna. I don't need to attack Mediolanum because I do not want to, have this army trapped up in the north. Abandoning Batavia might seem like a bad idea, but keep in mind, Cisalpina doesn't have any Roman pretender armies. which means the only ones who can attack us are the Gallic Romans from Octodorus and from Korea, but they cannot pass Mediolanum because they're also at war with the Roman pretenders. So actually having to cross Mediolanum would be extremely difficult for them because it does have a zone of control. So it's a chokehold over there. And the only other route they have is, you know, through Norea, which is a extremely long route. And then they have to capture the settlement of Norea, and which is also an important chokehold, as you can see with the zone of control nicely sits between all the mountain ranges over there. And only then can they move through the mountain passes towards Patavium. So Patavium is very secure. The only avenue of attack is from the south and from the west. Like technically an army can move towards Genoa. They'll have to conquer Genoa, and then they will be able to gain access to Patavium in this way. If they don't conquer Genoa and choose to ignore it, then once again they have the problem with Mediolanum, because Mediolanum, there is a river over here with a bridge, and the zone of control kind of blocks that bridge as well, so they can't really move across the bridge into Patavium. So very secure to hold that, and to basically trust in the process that even a significant enemy force will have to break a lot of resistance in order to get to Patavium. So what we can do is we can go ahead and attack the settlement of Ravenna. I am going to deploy my champion into that army. This army can potentially reach Ravenna, but I'm not too concerned. What we are going to do is we are going to just auto-resolve it. It's not a very good auto-resolve, but I am happy with how the auto-resolve is, and we're going to peacefully occupy Ravenna. There we go. That's fantastic. And we have army tradition, so we're going to go for the Keepers of the Peace as well as the Vanguard Legion. And we are just going to wait a couple of turns to replenish in Ravenna. We can go ahead and dismantle all the buildings that we don't need, and you know, convert some of the buildings that we could use. And we've lost a little bit of our treasury, but that's okay. We are going to start sacking some of these settlements over here because we have a really good public order in this region. We can also go ahead and dismantle this military building over here. We don't really need it. We can even dismantle this temple over here. I don't really need it. What I am going to focus on is libraries and the academia, if I possibly can. And you know, the academia, or the scriptorium as the Romans would have called it, does give that -4 empire maintenance, which is really crucial. If we stack that in as many provinces as we can effectively bring our empire maintenance down quite significantly. If we take a quick look at the strategic overview once again, we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 capital settlements, which means we can technically have 10 scriptoriums, which means that's a -40 to our empire maintenance, which will mean that, you know, we really boost our income. So that is obviously going to be the goal of this campaign, or of the next couple of episodes. We're really going to try to focus on improving our situation as best as we can. That being said, we can go ahead and end the turn, and I will see you all in the next turn. Alright, welcome to the next turn. Let's turn off all of the notifications. We have completed the research for the Sol Invictus temple building. Meanwhile, this character has leveled up, so let's go ahead and give him some abilities, as well as we can give the food. We can turn him off from a patrol stance, and unfortunately can't reach Cosentia, but we are going to try our level best to get as close as possible. No, he can reach Cosentia. We can once again just auto-resolve this battle, and we can peacefully occupy the settlement. There we go. So here we are at Cosentia being conquered. We can dismantle all of the buildings we do not require. Over here we're going to get the sanitation building as well as the academia. Focus on those two things, and we can push up with Aurelian into Benventum. So that is obviously going to be good. Meanwhile, the major army has moved all the way up north towards Fiorentina. They can move towards Batavium, so we are going to just keep a line of sight of what's happening up here in the Apennine passes, just to make sure that they're not able to, you know, attack us. This army over here is replenishing slowly but surely. It'll take another couple of turns for him to be completely replenished. Since we have gotten control of this area, we're going to focus on you know, our commercial buildings over here. I wonder what Christianity gives. Doesn't give much in terms of economics. Now we have many options. We have of course the monumental architect that gives 800 wealth from industry and 16 wealth generated by slaves. Sliced mines meanwhile gives the same wealth from mining, but plus 24 wealth from industry, which is pretty good, pretty powerful. But of course this province is going to be mostly commercially based, and that is because of course the salt mines, as well as you know, you have the winery over here that gives you commercial benefits, and not to mention Asculum is also another port that can give you you know, trading port that gives you a lot more commerce. So we should really be focusing on commerce wealth. We do have this option which gives wealth generated by slaves, which is also pretty powerful. Apart from that, this +8 tax rate is pretty good, especially if you stack it up in like you know, for all 4 regions if you can, because that would basically mean +32 to all of your wealth. But again, it's not as good as of course the slave trading thing. And the last option in my opinion could be the large market, because that does give commerce, and it gives +20 wealth from all commerce, and it gives growth per turn, but it comes at the cost of public order. I think I'm kind of leaning towards this because yeah, that's really going to be the place. So let's just go ahead and get that, and then we're going to focus on of course Asculum. Meanwhile, since we have completed our research, we are going to go ahead and start building all of the shrines to Sol Invictus. And right over here we can build the Agora. We can convert this building. I think Athens is really important because Athens of course has a lot of public order malice, so it's going to be very expensive to upgrade it in or convert it in Athens. And then we can focus on any of the other provinces. So starting over here, we can get we can actually convert this into a scriptorium. We can also build a temple over here, I guess. Maybe I don't want to. Maybe I can just build the Ager Publius, I guess. Because eventually I want to dismantle this building and replace it with a shield maker or a weaponsmith. Quickly over here, we can also convert this building. So yeah, with that, we've pretty much run out of money. So we're going to have to go ahead and attack Benventum. Thing about Benventum is, of course, you know, we have really good public order, so we can sack and loot the settlement, thereby gaining a little bit more income as well. So let's just quick save over here. We're going to hop into the battle. Obviously, it's going to be a pretty easy battle, but of course, we have to see Aurelian in, you know, in action. So that's why I guess I'll see you all in the battle. Alright, welcome to the battle. Let's begin our deployment. Very quickly select our cavalry. I'm not a big fan of this cavalry, to be honest. I think they have a very light, very low charge strength. So yeah, they're definitely not good. They have good speed, so they are really good as a skirmisher cavalry, but not so good on the charge. So it really makes cavalry engagements a lot harder to do. So definitely we'll have to see how that pans out. But for now, what we are going to do is we're going to set up the rest of our army. Go ahead, select all of this, select the legions, and of course the most experienced legions all the way in the back. We're going to increase and decrease the formation so that we can get that perfect triple axis formation. And there you go. These guys can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can also go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we get you up over here. you're next and you're last. And we select all of them and decrease them by 7. And there you go. You have the perfect triple S axis formation, just like that. Meanwhile, we select these guys, put them on a melee mode. We put them on either flanks, select all of them, decrease their width in order to create a gap between them. And lastly, we select our skirmishers, place them right behind the front line of Auxilia, and put both of the lines on the guard mode. And we move up our entire army, and we are ready to start the battle. Now, I'm not entirely sure if the enemy will move towards us. We're just going to fast forward over here to see what exactly the enemy is going to do. And it seems like they are charging towards us, so that's great, because I actually would like for them to do that so that we have a lot more room to maneuver. Since we do have the cavalry advantage, that is really crucial for us to be able to maneuver around them. So let's just speed up a little bit over here. We're going to move up our army a little bit ahead, start to get the archers into the fight, start to whittle down the enemy as much as we can. So there you have it. Okay, they are moving in, so we're going to move a little bit behind, try to pull them out. Meanwhile, we are going to focus on taking out their skirmishers. And there you go. We can slow down the battle for now. The 2 Lankiari are here, so they are the major problem. So what we're going to try to do is obviously hit their archers.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Just get our cavalry into position for that. These guys have managed to throw up all their javelins. So we have one guy over here in the middle, another guy here. We can charge. We can keep charging. I want to be a little bit more offensive in this battle because I do not want to take too many casualties. So I'm going to start trying to encircle the enemy. So let's just go ahead, attack over here. You can come in this direction. We get rid of their archers all the way in the back. They are unprotected. And with that, we have engaged the entire enemy front line. This unit didn't really charge, so we're going to try to make him charge. We're going to get these guys up and in a direction so that they can throw their javelins onto the flank. Meanwhile, these guys over here can also do the same. Our legionaries are almost done encircling over here, so let's just go ahead. General, you can charge over here. We got to watch out for the Lankiari, so we get our archers to hit the backs of the Lankiari. You guys just start moving up over here. You guys can move up over here. That's perfect, and you can attack that other archer. So shooting the Lankiari in the back is going to be very useful, of course. We're going to, if they're going to turn this way, they're going to get attacked or shredded either ways. So it doesn't really matter to me. We're going to attack some more Lankiari and try to get our general out, because the Lankiari are actually a spear unit, so they can dish out some damage to your units. So let's just go ahead over here. We can just move our legionaries across, get these legionaries as well in that direction, slowly try to encircle the enemy, bring up all our cavalry over here. They can start hurling their javelins into the back of the enemy. And over here we have both of our legionaries. Just position them like so, and you can position yourself in this way as well. Actually come a little bit more in this direction, because that unit is already wavering, so I don't think there's much left in it. We're going to bring our general all the way over here just to try to break that unit. We're taking very little casualties, guys. So there we have it. Okay, we've gotten rid of one of the units. We're going to move across again, and we are slowly going to line up over here. Of course, our cavalry has almost done with all of their attacks, and over here this guy is trying to charge. So we're gonna shoot arrows into their backs. Our melee infantry is all there, so we can just charge. We don't really care. And we can bring up our elite units all the way to the front. There we go. And once this unit is broken, we can just charge into the backs of these units over here and cause them to waver as well. So that's going to be a big bonus to us, of course. And once our elite units come up, of course, we have about 800 javelins over here, so that should make the battle pretty much easy to win. But with that, we have won the battle quite decisively, and I actually even forgot to show Aurelian himself. So there he is, just chilling in the back. His army's done an excellent job capturing Benventum, and with that, I will see you all in the campaign. So there you have it, a very decisive victory. We lost only 116 men, very well spread out. Basically, our Dacian auxiliary swordsmen are the ones who took damage because we were very aggressive. The battle lasted for a very short time and we managed to completely wipe out the garrison, thereby securing the important chokehold city of Benventum, which effectively cuts the Italian peninsula in half. We are going to sack and loot this settlement, keep in mind, and that is because, of course, we're running out of money, so we really need some money. Ideally, it is a Roman settlement, so we do not want to do that, but we have no choice. We have a decent amount of public order, so we can go ahead and just do that. And with that, we have, once again, a decent amount of treasury, and in the next turn, we should be able to slowly pull ahead. Let's quickly take a look at all of our provinces. Achaia, as far as public order is concerned, things are starting to slightly to improve. Like, you know, we have about 50% in the green and the other 50% in the red. So yeah, we'll have to see how we go about it. We can stop taxing Cisalpina, and we'll take a look at each one of these provinces individually. We're not taxing Thracia just yet, so that's not an issue. Africa Proconsularis should be making about 9 food, which is pretty good. We can in fact even upgrade these, but I'm not yet willing to do that. They're pretty expensive. Moving on to Illyricum, I think we have turned off the taxation here as well. Magna Graecia taxation has been turned off. In Illyricum, maybe we need to change the edict up. Magna Graecia, Illyricum, Thracia at Moesia is got the right edict. Raetia at Noricum is looking good. We can actually give them the library, since that does improve the empire maintenance. And Latium and Libya. Okay, that's fine. Right. And the next thing we need to focus on is, of course, our technology. And for technology, we have many options. We have this Rome Restored option, which gives plus 1,000 wealth per turn if I control the city of Rome. And obviously, in this episode, I'm going to be able to acquire the control of the settlement of Roma. So definitely a very good technology to research, but it's too far ahead for me to do so. To make any significant impact. So I might do it a little bit later on. Right now I'm going to be focusing on the things that can help improve, you know, which is a quicker way of improving my income, which is obviously I want to get access to the wine trader, to the imperial treasury, which gives 300 wealth per turn. Once that's done, then perhaps we can start to focus on regulations and commerce. Then we move our way down the governance tree with assuming power, consolidating authority, and of course restoring Rome, which gives us an additional 1,000 wealth per turn. However, with that, let's just go ahead, end the turn, and I will see you all in the next turn. Alright, welcome to the end turn. We are being attacked by 3 of the pretender legions, and we are going to fight this battle. Of course, the auto-resolve is not in our favor. A lot of our units are severely depleted. So we're going to try our best to fight this battle, and I will see you all in the battle. Alright, welcome to the battle. Let us go ahead and just deploy our troops. Really gonna select all of the... I'm sorry, we'll select our cavalry in group 1. And just deploy them over here. And then we're going to focus on our garrison infantry. Will take care of the first army. Then we have our legionaries. We're going to position them over here in the center. Just get a line of sight of where the reinforcements is coming. I'm guessing they should be coming from this direction because they are attacking us from the north. So we might have to hold out over here in this choke point. And maybe over here in this choke point, but that's why I'm not committing my legionaries to any direction as of now. Next up we have you know, our professional cohorts. We're going to keep them over here. The spearmen can come over here. These guys are going to hold the line. We're going to try to preserve our Gallic infantry. And then lastly, we're going to group up all of our javelin men as one. Get them here in the back. And archers as well. We can get them over here. So with that, we are ready. We can go ahead and start the battle. We're just going to wait initially and start to see exactly where the enemy reinforcements are coming from.
Our reinforcements have arrived.
And our reinforcements have arrived, which is not that great, to be honest. We can just... and just as I said, the bulk of the enemy forces are coming in from that direction. So we'll have to hold over here with our spearmen. Let's just go hold this over here. And the other one can come in this direction. Come in this direction. So these two should be able to block it. And there we go. Just keep attacking. Alright, we can take our cavalry and start going towards the left. Move our auxiliary out of the way. Alright, that's fantastic. Let's just fast forward over here.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
And the cavalry can go ahead and attack over there. So we've dealt with that army. And here we go. Very quickly go into the defensive stance. And get all of our javelins up ahead. Over here. There we go. We can move our melee troops over here. And these melee troops can also move over there. And of course our more experienced cohorts, which are these guys in group 4, you can also move in that direction. Just get a line of sight of what's happening over here. Actually, the more experienced guys, these guys have managed to kind of push through. We move our cavalry back. The experienced cohorts just come here, kind of block this avenue so that these guys can't do much. Get the javelins over here so that they can throw into the backs of this cavalry. Try to get rid of this cavalry. So there you have it. We can get out of the formation, start attacking over here. There we have it. Okay, perfect. And our cavalry can actually come all the way here. So yeah, this is pretty much going to be the choke point over here. So we're going to try our level best to hold that choke point as best as we can. And we're going to get our archers all the way over here. We're going to try to get them around. Meanwhile, we do have a reinforcements coming in. Quickly swap over here. And there we go. Our javelins doing a good job on the enemy cavalry. Let's move up. You guys can come here. Your other ones can come here. So we're going to try to break this one first. And then we're going to try to break the bigger one next. Apart from that, these guys can come a little bit over here so that they prevent the enemy from flanking. There we go. Alright. And we can move our cavalry as well. Start moving these guys over there. And the archers, we want to keep moving them as well. So we can just fast forward over here. Let the entire enemy commit as much as they can. The javelins, we're going to get you... Perfect. And it seems like this side has committed first. So we're going to try to go for them. And we're going to try to get the cavalry while we're at it. Move our infantry really up close. Archers can move as well. Oops. Where did that cavalry go? Never mind. Okay, let's just go for that one over there. Just quickly move over here as well. And archers, we can move it over there. Perfect. Okay, so we're done with this. We're just waiting for some of the enemies to commit before we go ahead and attack them. Can group on this and just attack. There we go. Archers attack here. And you guys can attack there as well. We can slow down the battle once more. Get a look over here. What's happening? We want to charge into the backs of these units. Try our level best to take them out. Just zoom in a little bit more. We have these guys can come all the way here. Archers. Now these guys can move all the way back because they were supposed to be attacking the cavalry, but I forgot to toggle on the guard mode, which means they have, you know, kind of overextended. There you have it. One unit is decisively losing. We can then push on into the next one. Let's go. Push on. And we don't want to wipe out this army as much as we can because we want to keep the momentum in our favor. Let's just move our auxilia. Keep moving them.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
This unit is losing decisively. Let's get our first cohort in this direction. Get a couple of these units to engage here. And we can move our javelins into the gap, of course, where they can be of some use. Alright, we have this here. Let's keep... That was perfect timing with the first cohort. Managed to get them sorted. We're gonna start firing into the backs over there. Let's go over here, charge. Keep attacking these guys. And the cavalry is done, so we are gonna group them up and charge as well. Try to get some massive rear charges over here. Hopefully that should shatter some of the morale. And yeah, the charge of these guys is so weak, really. So I definitely do not want this cavalry anymore. But we're going to fix that shortly after this battle. Or in the future when we're able to replace them or pull them out. Let's go with the general. Gallic infantry, throw in all of your javelins, please. And we have another bunch of legionaries over here.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Go ahead, charge over there. You can go in this direction. That's good. We're splitting them up a little bit. That could work in our favor. There we go. Get this guy to charge in from all directions. There we go. This charge is so pathetic. There we go. We're gonna charge over here. Get the charge over there. Our legionaries. You can get a couple of them. Come in this direction. We really need to break these guys and then break those guys over there as well. The main problem is this first cohort. Let's just pull out. Try to relieve these guys. Let the first cohort go ahead and commit over there. We're going to charge into these guys as well. Try to keep breaking up this unit. And these guys can come in this direction. There we go. Pull out the cav again. There we go. Okay, we managed to break over there. You can turn about and face these guys. You are going to keep attacking over here. Cavalry, move out. We really need to break. Alright, we managed to kill the enemy general. That's great. Good news. Gonna try to push in over here as best as we can. Of course, this unit over here is taking quite a beating, unfortunately. Let's move out. We have to really save this unit. Okay, let's charge back in. You can charge over here. You charge this unit. Come on. The charge is so pathetic with this unit, really. There we go, okay.
Spears ready. Ready your weapons. Yours to command. One of our units has used all its ammunition. Ready for orders.
Let's just fast forward a little bit over here. We're going to charge with all of the archers. Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Flee the field of battle.
And we are going to attack here as well. Just make sure that we get rid of as many of these units as we possibly can. Try to get the balance of power shifted in our favor. Let's go ahead and charge here. Hopefully this should make them lose decisively. There we go. Okay, we've gotten rid of that one unit. And we're going to have a big charge over here in the gap. Another unit is wavering, which is great, but we have to charge into this gap right over here. Try to break the enemy. Of course, this battle is taking a bit longer than expected, but we're going to try to shatter the enemy morale over here. General can go ahead and inspire, and then the general can pull back and charge into those units. Try to break them a little bit. There we go. Okay, losing decisively. Time to pull back out, and time to keep charging over here. And over here we're going to attack. Meanwhile, our first cohort, or one of our Gallic, Dacian troops has not been engaged in the battle, which is unfortunate. But let's just focus on these units over here. We really have to break one of these units. That one's losing decisively. This one's kind of blocking our avenue over there, so we're just going to pull back. Hopefully it commits to one side, and then we will have an advantage again. But yeah, it's not looking good for us. Alright, just need to break this one over here. A couple of you can come here in this direction. Alright, commit. You can come over here. And there we go. Just charge these guys. Excellent. You can charge over there. And we can just fast forward now, because I think they should be getting a lot of penalties. Give our general to give them some morale. And we can pull our cavalry back out. We're going to charge again with these units. And once again, it's a pretty grueling battle. Of course, Roman legionaries, very, very hardy units. So it's not going to be easy to shatter these guys. But this is the major battle, of course, guys. If we win at this battle, it's pretty much, you know, done and dusted. So we're going to move all of our archers out. Try to get a clean charge over here. Try to break some more units. There we go. Okay, that one is wavering. We just need to keep wavering these units, and once they kind of do that, we will have the advantage once again. So let's just push into these enemy units. Go ahead, charge once more. And there we go. Okay, they should be losing a little bit more men. We can pull back out. Try to keep cycle charging it to keep attacking them as best as we can. This first cohort is the one that needs to break, unfortunately. But they are going to be staying in the fight for quite some time. What we can do is just charge into the backs. Okay, the first cohort is wavering. And they have held. They're steady. They're still wavering. Still wavering. We need them to break because they are applying a morale. Okay, so there we go. You can see the mass rout is starting to take shape. And that's exactly what we want. We can move our general back. And go ahead, start trying to reduce the enemy's strength as best as you can.
One of our units has used
And you guys can just try to pin these guys down. Actually, never mind. Pull you back. And we are going to leave those units and focus on the rest. Just go ahead. And with that, we won the battle. So, yeah. See you all back in the campaign. And as you can see, that was a very close victory. We almost lost some units, but I think most of them have survived, especially the Dacians. I wouldn't want to lose any of them. So yes, we have survived. We could release captives, or we could enslave. I think I'm going to go with enslaved over here. Significantly weakened the Roman pretender armies. Unfortunately, one of them has moved closer towards Patavium, so we'll have to deal with that army first. We'll have to wipe it out. And then we can push towards Roma in the next turn, and maybe even Asculum and beyond. So let's see how that pans out. We're just waiting for the next turn to trigger. And there we have the next turn. And it's the man in the armor. We're going to go with Joke. And... alright, let's take a look at all of our characters. See who we can level up. Can level up Aurelian, and we are going to go with the trained swordsman as well as the increased replenishment rate for the military commander. And over here we can pretty much do the same thing. And we have to get rid of that army because of course our garrison at Patavium is not really fully manned. So let's just go ahead, attack over there. He's going to retreat deeper. And there we go. We just wipe him off. And we can enslave up all the captives. And now the problem is, of course, that there are still two armies over here that could potentially attack Ravenna. We are back in Patavium. What we are going to do is we're going to get the other abilities like the formidable fighters and so forth. And we're going to put this army in a patrol stance so that they replenish as much as they possibly can. Meanwhile, we are going to move up our army over here. We can attack Asculum. I think that is the plan. Or we could attack Roma. And that will really put these guys in a bind because they will not be able to recruit any units. And that could really be a big boon to us. But Roma is of course very tough to attack, so we're going to go for Asculum instead. And we can just auto-resolve this one over here. And peacefully occupy the settlement. And we can move our other army towards Benventum. I think Benventum should have enough population for us to replenish, as does Asculum. Let's quickly take a look at these settlements. And in Benventum, we want this building as well as we could go for this one over there. Right, that being done, let's take a quick look at all of our buildings, all of our settlements. You know, Achaia is making a little bit of public order issues over there, so that's not good. Meanwhile, Thracia seems to be fine. We can actually convert this into a library as well, just to help with that empire maintenance. Go ahead, build up the temples wherever we can. And with that, we're looking pretty good. What I am also going to do is I'm going to try to recruit up a dignitary if I have the option to do so. Unfortunately, I do not, but what we can do is we can get another spy. We're going to get him up here in the north. There we go. And now Ravenna is got less troops, which means these guys could potentially attack Ravenna, but they'd be foolish to do so because we have a lot more troops in number, which means we're going to have a very easy time dealing with them. So I think with that, we are more or less done with this turn. There's nothing much else left to do. We're just going to take a quick look at our politics. We're looking quite fine. Our influence is pretty good. We are admired. And for the most part, we have secured quite a massive chunk, at least 50% of the Italian peninsula. Of course, settlement of Roma remains, as does Fiorentina, Mediolanum and Genoa. Once we do that, we can send an army down south to conquer the last two remaining settlements of Valeria and Caralis. We also have a fleet over here that could potentially attack Brundisium. I think Brundisium is, yes, very low in terms of manpower. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, attack with our navy. We have We have the better ships. We can in fact even auto-resolve it. They don't really want to fight this battle. And there you go. We can just enslave up all the captives. Perfect. With that, we can move into the port of Brundisium, get some replenishment going, as well as protect the weakened settlement from this navy. But this navy is pretty weak right now and doesn't have any ports on the Adriatic coastline, so it will not be able to recruit any more ships. Yeah, so things are looking good. We can go ahead, end the turn, and I will see you all in the next turn. All right, welcome to the next turn. Researching the sea's imperial treasury, banditry, missing taxes. Characters have leveled up, so let's go ahead and give them those important levels. We're going to focus on the ramming, of course. And over here we have a dignitary who is leveled up, so we can go ahead and give him that with the public order bonuses just to improve the public order in this region. In about 4 turns our temples will be done, which means our public order will no longer be an issue. Spy over here has also leveled up, so we can give her some abilities. And this army is almost done, so we can go ahead and improve the champion over here. Perfect. And we can push down south and maybe try to attack Florentina, or we have the option of actually moving with one of our spies up north. I think that's the play. Do we have another spy somewhere? Let's actually open the tactical map. Right, we have 2 spies, one over here in Patavium and the other one over there. We're going to move this spy towards Korea, get a line of sight of what the Gallic Empire is up to. Meanwhile, we're going to move the other spy towards Massilia or Octodurus, and then eventually we can move this spy all the way towards Massilia. Perfect. With that, the main concern is, of course, attacking Roma, and I think we can. With a good auto-resolve, let's just go ahead. There we go. Okay, that's a decent auto-resolve. If we reinforce with this army, we should be able to get a very favorable auto-resolve. Let's go ahead and do that. Wonderful. And we can peacefully occupy Roma. And we can move our capital to Roma. With that, we have secured Roma. We can move towards Florentina as well. That's great. And once again, there's very good auto-resolve, so I am going to go ahead and auto-resolve it. I think, yep. Not sure if I can reinforce over here. Hopefully I'm in reinforcement range. There we go. Perfect reinforcement range, which means we'll take very limited casualties. We can peacefully occupy Florentia, I'm sorry. And with that, we have secured the entirety of Latium, which is amazing. To be honest, what we can do now is we can turn off some of the edicts and implement the commercial stimulation edict. Go for this building over here, Salt, as well as the Agora. We can convert this into a marketplace, and we can... It's giving me 400 wealth from livestock. We can actually dismantle. We can actually keep it, rather, since we just have one more building to upgrade, and we're going to dismantle this building since we do not require it. We do not even require the barracks, so that's good. Let's take a look at all of our provinces, make sure we're building everything where we need it to be built. And yeah, with that, things are looking perfect. We can move our spy in this area towards that direction. And now all that remains is, of course, conquering the rest of Cisalpina. What we are going to do is try to conquer Genua and Mediolanum, and then keep 2 armies there to protect against the Gallic Empire. Meanwhile, Aurelian can move down south towards Corsica and Sardinia, as well as Caralis, and with that we will have wiped out the Roman pretenders, which is very, very good for us at this point in the campaign. Asculum is going to be a little bit weak compared to, of course, this unit over here, so we could actually go ahead and destroy that fleet, but for now I'm just going to keep it because I don't think they should be able to do much. Ravenna should have a little bit more garrison than Asculum, so I think we can manage to deal with just 49 units over 49 men we have in Asculum. Yeah, we have a lot, including javelins, so we should be fine. Over here we can upgrade Aurelian, so let's go ahead and do that. He's going to take some time to replenish, but with that I think we are done with this turn, so we can go ahead and end the turn, and I will see you all in the next turn. Alright, welcome to the next turn. We get some money for completing our objectives, which is basically capturing Roma. We are at war with the Nasamones, not the Garamantians, so we're going to try to establish a peace agreement with them. It's very high. We'll ask them to pay us heftily for it. And no, they will not pay us that much, so we can ask a little bit less. There we go. Okay, that's good enough. Any amount of money is useful at this point. In just about 4 turns, we will have our temple over there, so that should help. Food is looking quite good. So not too concerned, we can upgrade that temple over there as well. Let's take a look at some of the other provinces. Of course, we'll have to build a lot in Roma, so I'm just going to save some money for that. So with Roma, what we want to do, we want to focus on the Forum Venerium, because that gives a lot of wealth from commerce. So that is one good thing. The other good building that we can have is going to be one of these industrial buildings. So this one over here gives 40 wealth from commerce. So yes, definitely we want to build those 2 buildings up. Let's go ahead and do that and build the marketplace as well in Roma. So Roma will surely start to make a lot more money. And as you can see, Latium is already catching up to Achaia, which is really good for us. Achaia is starting to show some positive public order. Meanwhile, Africa Proconsularis is decreasing in public order, but once these temples are done, that should be taken care of. Macedonia is also doing quite well. Pannonia is making a very minimal amount of money, so we could turn off the taxes over here, but we are getting that +4 food for them, which is quite important for us. So we'll have to just retain that for now. Once again, we can just upgrade over here. And we can try to keep pushing towards Genoa. So let's just go ahead, attack Genoa. And we can reinforce with this army as well, so we do not have any issues. Meanwhile, move our spy down south over here. We can see Tetricus himself with an army marching towards Genoa. Meanwhile, our other spy over here, Correa, can position him in the middle so to get a line of sight of what's happening on both sides. And we can move the last spy up over here towards Octodurus and get a line of sight of what's happening in that pass. That being said, let's just go ahead and attack Genova. We are just going to simply auto-resolve this one. It's very good auto-resolve. And we can peacefully occupy the settlement. And with that, we are nearly done completely conquering the entirety of Cisalpina. Last remaining settlement is Mediolanum. Meanwhile, over here, I think I'm just going to leave this army just where it is because it's effectively neutralized. There's not much it can do. But what I can do over here is I can move Aurelian towards Fiorentina. Go ahead, deploy over there. Take a quick look. We have all of our champions. We just need a dignitary, and we have enough money to recruit 1 dignitary over here. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And we are going to deploy him a little bit over here. Excellent. With that, we are done with yet another turn. Going to go ahead, end this turn, and I will see you all in the next turn. All right. Welcome to the next turn. Household expanded. And let's actually try to attack Mediolanum now. Since we can, we're just going to move both armies up there to the north. We have another army over here that can support to help with that auto-resolve. It's pretty good, 84%. I'm going to take that, and we're going to peacefully occupy Mediolanum. And there we have it. We have the entirety of the Italian mainland firmly under control. We are going to move Aurelian into the port of Genoa. And we are going to move his champion a little bit outward. Because in the next turn, we want to be able to land in Aleria and take over Aleria. That being said, I think replenishment wise, we have a little bit of an issue here, but we can improve that. can retain those buildings. We can actually dismantle this one, build this, build another academia. That's important. Quick look at Roma. Roma, we can build another trading outpost, which will really help with our income. Let's look at some of our other provinces, since of course we are no longer using you know, our governor general over here. We can actually move him all the way towards Asculum, help with really buffing up the Roman income. And as you can see, we're pretty massive now in size, and we're almost done with our pretender faction, so we will almost be done wrapping up our civil war, especially in this episode. Unfortunately, one of our client states has been pushed back by Mauritanians, so we'll have to deal with that instantly or immediately afterwards. But since we are really massive in size, what I am going to do is I'm going to try to specialize my provinces. I'm going to make Africa and Sicily into food provinces, and Latium is going to be our economic province, and that's just the only economic province that we're going to have. And as we do that, we're slowly going to start building up another army, try to get control of Asia, and once we get control of Asia, we're going to try to get our second economic province running up, and then we should be able to support quite a lot of legionaries. Meanwhile, just another 3 turns to get the additional wealth per turn. And another thing we really need to focus on is, of course, the empire maintenance. And I think we will try to rush down this tree so that we can get that empire maintenance sorted out as quickly as possible. However, with that, once again, we are done with this turn, so I'm going to end the turn and I'll see you all in the next turn. Let's go ahead and just deploy this guy in a patrol stance. And we're going to then replace this guy over here in Genoa in the next turn. Alright, welcome to the next turn. No longer can we trade with Colchis. We've got some more money in our treasury, always nice to have. We can take Aurelian and we can move him all the way towards Aleria. We can even take our champion and move him to train Aurelian once again. And with that, we're looking quite good. Very close to wiping out the Roman pretenders. This army is nearly fully replenished, so we can just go ahead and swap over here, move this army towards Genoa and this army towards Mediolanum. Mediolanum is of course going to be a lot harder to defend because they have a lot of avenues to attack us, but holding out the Apennine passes is very powerful, so we don't have to worry about that. Let's check out all of our settlements. Definitely want to build this over here to help with our empire maintenance. We want to recruit that governor general and deploy him in Asculum. There we go. Quick look at Macedonia. It's not making that much money, so I might actually stop taxing it. There we go. And we'll get rid of this guy as well. We'll put him up in Latium, so let's just give him some abilities to improve over there, give him some food. Excellent. We can take a look at all of our characters, especially the ones in charge of armies. So we have the melee attack over here. We can get the melee attack for that guy as well. Perfect. I'm pretty happy with that. Meanwhile, we can disband this guy, and in the next turn we can deploy him in Fiorentina or even in Roma. Let's go ahead and deploy our dignitary as well in the province of Roma. Roma should be making a decent amount of money, you know, especially once we're able to improve the public order, should do quite well. We are going to upgrade this building as well. We might as well do that, and then we can upgrade even the main imperial capital to get the maximum amount of income, and then slowly we'll start recruiting up a 4th army. We definitely need a 4th army. However, with that, once again, we are done with this turn. So I'm going to go ahead, end the turn, and I'll see you all in the future when we're ready to attack Aleria. Alright, welcome to several turns into the future. Let's just turn off all of our notifications. Take a quick look at our characters. Okay, we have a champion outside over here. The reason being is because I was prepared to attack Karalis. I managed to capture Aleria in the turns between the pauses. And of course, it's going to be a close victory. So we're just going to continue the siege, and we are going to try to reinforce with our navy, of course. And go ahead, deploy the champion inside that army. And let's just besiege over here. And now we should have a little bit of a more favorable auto-resolve, which is a close victory. But that's fine. And we can go ahead and sack and loot the settlement. So let's just go ahead and do that. And loot it. Excellent. And with that, we have managed to end the civil war. You know, we can just turn that off and can go ahead and get into a patrol stance. Quickly repair all of the buildings we need, dismantle the ones we do not require. And we can build that one over there. Go ahead, build a Shrine of Sol Invictus. And we are making a decent amount of money. Latium is pulling in 5,232. Meanwhile, we have turned off the taxation in Achaea because we can get a lot more. Actually, we can't get a lot more income right now. But we have turned off the taxation there because we are trying to focus as much as possible the taxes in Latium, and we are pretty much focusing as much of the buildings as we possibly can in Latium, of course. Let's take a quick look at all of our buildings right now. It's looking quite good. We are currently in a war. We can get I don't know, does this take food? It takes away from food. So in the food provinces, I have to go for this building over there. And we can actually start building these ones as well, so that we get a lot more food from the province. And there we go. We have used all of our income. Meanwhile, the Heruli have declared war against us in the previous turn. We are gonna try to broker a peace with them. And there we go. That's a peace. We can even try for a trade agreement. Unfortunately, they'll not agree. And with that, we are more or less done with this turn. We're just going to check our politics. Yeah, all of our political parties are very, very loyal because of the Civil War 1. So that is great. We can check to see if we can get... Oh, this guy is very, very good. Unfortunately, not sure if we can recruit him. Would absolutely love to entice him to join our... But we need more cunning. Let's try to improve our female characters because, you know, kind of missing out on that for now. The cunning over there. Who has the max cunning? Well, none of these give a lot of cunning. We don't have really that many good female characters, to be honest. But we can hire this guy nonetheless. And we can start to deploy him in Narona over there. And eventually try to build up a fourth army, because our economy is looking pretty decent. And yeah, with that, I am ready to go ahead and end the episode. Of course, we've taken quite a lot of casualties with this army. It'll take about 2 to 3 turns before we are fully replenished, but we've managed to wipe out the Civil War faction, which is a big deal. I don't see a lot of build-up in the Gallic Empire up here in the north, which means we have 1 or 2 options. We can move in the next episode into Mauritania, Caesariensis, and then launch an attack into Hispania. From there, we can take the province of Cartenas from the Numidians over here, and then we can launch our attack into Hispania. And once we conquer the entirety of Hispania and we hold up here in the north, slowly and carefully expanding into Raetia and Noricum as a military province. It also has iron as a resource, which is very important for our weaponsmith and armorsmith. Then we will have a very good frontier against the Gallic Empire, and then we can pincer attack from the south in Hispania and from the east in Cisalpina as well as Raetia at Noricum, and we can wipe them out. But I think it's not going to be that easy. Meanwhile, the situation is a little bit tense over here in Anatolia. We have the Palmyrans busy attacking our client states up over here in Anatolia, so very soon these guys are going to be on the back foot. You even have the Gothi making their move towards our client states, so we'll have to try our level best to be as quick as possible in taking Hispania. Once we take over Hispania, we are just going to try to squeeze out the Gallic Empire. Then we'll leave 2 armies up north over here in Gallia. They can either be on the defensive against Britannia, and then we're going to march as many armies as we possibly can towards the east to deal with the east to secure Anatolia, because I do not want to lose Anatolia at any cost. It's a very, very, very useful region to have in the game. That being said, we can take one last quick look at our entire realm. I think our specialization is coming along nicely. We don't have much else to do. Very soon our food is going to be extremely in the surplus, since we have, you know, a lot of up and coming buildings over here. And of course, in about 8 turns or about 10 turns really, Latium is going to be making an insane amount of wealth. Let's take a look at some of the characters, see if we can promote anyone, because that also helps with the tax rate. +4 tax rate is very, very powerful. Meanwhile, even this guy can be upgraded, so let's just go ahead and do that, even though it costs us slightly more. But it's totally worth it, because it will improve the taxation in Latium in the next turn, of course. As far as public order is concerned, you can see that we're done almost building up all of our Sol Invictus temples, except for the higher level ones in Achaia as well as Libya. But once that's done, we should be able to flip some of the red provinces or the unhappy provinces into happy provinces. The only other unhappy province is Africa Consularis, but once again we're building another Temple of Sol Invictus over there that will really, really help with the public order. We can actually, in fact, even dismantle this building, and that should give us a significant amount of food, +8 food. But in about 4 turns, we will be offsetting that with, of course, our fishery, which gives +2 food from fishing ports, which basically is 2 times 4, which is 8 food, which kind of balances this out. On top of which it gives 2 food, and you know, we're having a farm that gives 4 food, so we will have an additional 6 food over here in Africa, making 16 food, and that will add up to our overall food surplus. However, with that, I am done with this episode. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you liked the video, then like the video, and don't forget to subscribe if you are interested for more. Peace and love.